Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us once again for our bi-weekly live stream for our Dharma talk and guided meditation. First, I would like to just extend my warmest thank yous and sincerest gratitude for all of the wonderful messages for our Founders Day yesterday. It was so wonderful to hear from all of you, and your messages and your kind support are very inspiring and heartwarming. Thank you. I greatly appreciate that. So today, March 6th, 2023, we'll talk about how we all have the same potential. And our potential may not be what we think it is, right? So we have a certain idea, what we've been told potential is, but we're going to explore what our potential really is. And I think you will be delighted when we make those revelations to you all. And so before we begin, we will start also with our wonderful guided meditation for acceptance for where we are. It's very important to accept our current conditions and remembering that acceptance is not surrender, it's not defeatist. It's just acknowledging where we are in the current situation, our present moment. And then from there, we can realize our potential. Right? So it's a nice alignment between our guided meditations and our Dharma talks. So go ahead and settle yourself into a comfortable position, whatever works best for you. And you're always welcome to close your eyes or keep them open with a slight focus looking down in front of you if you're sitting down. Whatever works best for you. Breathe in. Pause. And breathe out. And as you sit there, you are absolutely warmly invited to allow a half smile to rest on your face as well. Allow your spine to lift and your shoulders to soften. Soften your belly as you continue settling in. And breathe in. Pause. And breathe out. Either through your nose or through your mouth. And then let's meditate on accepting where we are right here, right now. And as you sit there or lie there in your position, go ahead and bring warm attention to any emotions that you may be feeling in this present moment. They could be joyful emotions, feelings of uncertainty, maybe even feelings of just being neutral. Whatever you're feeling right here, right now, is where you are. Don't try to push any of those emotions away. Just allow them to be. So, for the next few moments, simply allow yourself to let go of any judgment associated with any of those feelings. Simply accept what you're feeling as it is and only as it is. Breathe in. Pause. And breathe out. Now, go ahead and bring kind awareness to any physical sensations you're experiencing. Sensations you're experiencing right here, right now, could be cool or warm air blowing against your skin. Perhaps you're a little hungry. Or maybe there's a little cramp in your foot. Whatever that sensation is that you're experiencing is happening right here, right now, not in the future and not in the past. And then for the next few moments, simply allow yourself to let go of any judgment associated with any of those physical sensations. Simply accept these sensations as they are and for only what they are. Breathe in. Pause. And breathe out. We know that whatever we're experiencing, positive, neutral, or negative, it's only temporary. It won't last. Go ahead and begin to open your eyes slowly, bringing awareness to where you are currently sitting or lying down. begin to reorientate yourselves to your surroundings if you decide to move around. Sometimes our feet fall asleep, right? And it can be a few moments before we regain, any meaningful sensations in our feet before we stand up and walk around. We have the potential to fall down if we do, right? If we move around too quickly from sitting too long. Get those little pins and needles in our feet. Remember, that happened to me like once or twice when I was very, very, very new to meditation. I figured, I can just stand up. Quickly to discover gravity is still in full effect. Right? So fortunately, I was near my bed, so I was able to catch myself before there was any serious injury. But I had the potential to fall. Actually, I did fall, right? I caught myself, though, but it was. But what is potential? That's our topic tonight, because we all have the same potential. But we should really kind of just allow ourselves a common definition or a common understanding of what I mean when we're referring to potential, right? But potential is simply an unrealized result. It can be something that's either conscious or unconscious. We could have a conscious potential. I want to get an A on my next test, right? So I'll work hard to score well on an examination. Or it could be an unconscious potential. Maybe I didn't know I have the ability to be a great craftsman or woodworker, right? So it's simply an unrealized result, right? Or from an action that we partake in. But for our consideration this evening, we're going to just have potential meaning a worldly potential, right? A worldly definition. Kind of like what we just said. Right? Maybe a woodworker or a craftsman or a chef, right? We didn't know we were good cooks. So some of the potentials that we are, that we are always inundated with, right? Think about careers and positions, right? You have the potential for a great career. Maybe upper level management, maybe a business owner, right? Probably don't start off at that position, right? You kind of have to work your way up. And so when you first join a company, maybe as a salary man or something like that, you're at the bottom, but you have the potential, right, to advance. One, right? Because you've joined that company, that organization. So you have the potential to move up. And maybe you do. Social status too, right? Maybe you come from an affluent family, or maybe not so much. So your social status can also significantly affect your worldly potential. It's not always the case, right? It could be. Education, right? We always hear that, right? To have a really good life, you have to have a quality education, a good education, a college degree, right? So that's something that we've all been inundated with since we were small children. Right? Maybe not all. All's a big word, but for a lot of people. Our home or the house we live in, right? Sometimes we are judged by the homes that we live in. With a higher career or a higher position, a larger or more expensive, perhaps, education, right? Can give us a better home, right? Or financial status and income, right? Each time we advance in that company, our potential has increased. So those are all worldly potentials, right? We're not all on the same playing field when it comes to that. Realistically, we're not. Perhaps, where you're born has a lot to do with that. But that's not the potential that we all have, the same potential that we all have. What we are really going to explore tonight and our wonderful time together is our being's potential, right? How we can increase or realize true satisfaction. Right? And so most often we are unsatisfied, right, due to our expectations, right, or our attachment to those expectations. We may be unsatisfied because maybe we got passed over for that position. You may be unsatisfied because you don't have you didn't have the opportunity to go to a university. So our satisfaction is very often dependent upon our expectations. And so as long as we are unsatisfied, we won't be able to achieve the liberation that we truly seek, right? So our liberation is dependent upon our expectations, right? Our attachment. So our attachment prohibits us from that liberation. So think about that. We will always be unsatisfied if we hold on to our expectations and attachments, living in the past, living in the future, not being aware of where we are in the here and the now, in this present moment. Take a moment to just reflect upon that. It's important. Because our potential, our being's potential to realize that really comes upon the factors of letting go of those expectations or attachments. And when we let go of those expectations and our attachments, we are able to be satisfied. When we have satisfaction because we have let go of those expectations and attachments, we invite in liberation, true liberation. We don't hold on to the future. We let go of a past that cannot be changed. I'm going to give you an example. Consider someone who has, maybe they've been incarcerated. They have a criminal record. Right? Doesn't matter what it's for, but they've been released. Right? They have successfully completed their obligations, paid their debt to society, and they are released. Sometimes, and oftentimes, they may hold on to a view that, man, no one's ever going to trust me. I just got out of jail or prison. Who's going to trust me? They're going to ask, where was I? Why don't I have an employment history for, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, whatever it is? How do I explain that? And when they're forthcoming, man, they're never going to trust me. Never going to get a job. So they're concerned that they will always be judged by their past. It's an expectation. It's an attachment. I'm going to be judged by my past. Therefore, this expectation manifests itself in their actions. Right? So this dwells in their thoughts. It drives their actions. Maybe they are standoffish. Maybe they're not so forthcoming with not just, their particular past, but maybe they're just not forthcoming with how they feel. Maybe they reject love. Maybe they reject openness and compassion for others. Because they're holding on to an expectation, right? Someone is not going to accept me because of my past. And that's not true. There are plenty of compassionate and open people out there. And it's true, there are some that are not. So somebody has, in this situation, they have forsaken satisfaction for the past, for an attachment to the past. They have forsaken liberation because of an attachment to the past. And it's a past that no longer exists. It's on paper, right? It's on paper. It's not. Doesn't mean that's who they are now. So how do we achieve our potentials? Right? That's a common situation. Something else, maybe you're really short. You may never be an Olympic runner, and that's okay. Right? Maybe there's something else you can do to achieve your potential in that type of an arena. But again, we're talking about our spiritual, our being potential. So how do we achieve our being potential? How do we achieve satisfaction? How do we achieve liberation? Which ultimately brings us to enlightenment. Right? The Eightfold Path. Right? The Buddha has identified the Noble Eightfold Path, and this is how we can all realize and come into our potential. And so I invite you, at this time, we have Dharma transmissions where we go into that and how we can incorporate the Noble Eightfold Path into our daily lives. And it's so important that we do so. It develops us as individuals. It improves our well-being. which ultimately improves the well-being of others. It's a path to enlightenment. So we have our Dharma transmissions, and you are absolutely welcome to partake and learn from them as well. Now, it's also important to realize that, you may never achieve the worldly potentials, right, of what you set out to. It's a fact of life, right? You may never be a Supreme Court justice. There's only 9 positions, and those people are there forever. You may never be an airline pilot. Suppose you wear glasses, right? Suppose you don't have very good eyesight. That may never happen, right? To be an airline pilot. Maybe you don't even become a city mayor, the mayor of your local, or even on a commission, right? On a board of commissioners or whatever it is, right? Maybe you just never get enough votes. That's okay, right? That's absolutely okay. Because when we hold on to the attachments of a worldly potential, we invite in the potential, right? The realization that we all have the ability to ease our own suffering, the suffering of others, by realizing our own potential. It's in us. We already have it. It's there. Now, certainly do appreciate all of your kind attention for our wonderful Dharma talks on these Monday evenings. Our next Dharma talk will be on March 20th, and we'll talk about coming into and cultivating wisdom. We live in a very technologically advanced society, but do we have the wisdom to effectively nurture our society, nurture our own well-being? So that's something we'll talk about on our next Dharma talk. And we also have our wonderful weekly sanghas that you are always welcome to join us, right? Our healing sanghas, our veterans sangha, our new beginning sangha, our rainbow sangha, our welcoming sangha. It's a new one, our welcoming sangha. And our teen sangha. We've also started a sutra study on Tuesday evenings. There are over 84,000 sutras. Probably won't get to all of them, but we're going to explore as many as we can on Tuesday evening. So you are absolutely welcome to join us for our sutra studies. Also on March 18th, from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m., we will be having our spring virtual retreat. So Dharma talks, some silent meditations, some guided meditations as well to welcome in spring. Right? We can welcome in spring. It's a change of season. Spring is always a sign of rebirth. So as we slowly exit from winter, snow will melt. If you have snow, right, temperatures will warm, trees will bud. So it's a wonderful way to just bring us back into that spring awakening. And also we have our Cambodia retreat. Still register for that. Coming up in June for 9 days, I believe it is. 8 or 9 days in Cambodia. And we'll explore Phnom Penh and Angkor Wat, some shopping too, right? We'll just still do some touristy stuff, but we'll interact with some of the monks at the Wats or the pagodas. So you're certainly welcome to join us for that. And if you do find value in our times together, right, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel. And again, I wish you all an evening of peace, ease, and well-being, and I thank you for coming.